Okay, hi, Sixth Teal. Um, I figured this might be easier than me explaining things over and over again to a board that I've drawn on and written on. So I am looking at a couple of pages here. This is the concept vocabulary from the excerpt from Brown Girl Dreaming. So we have the following words: squish, twist, shushes, humming, twirl, feathery. Okay? So these are all sensory language, or words that appeal to the five senses: touch, sight, smell, sound or hearing, and taste. So remember we did some writing with the senses, I think last week. Okay. Squish is something you do with your hands. Twist is a motion, right? Shush is shh. Humming. Mm-hmm. Twirl is, again, it's kind of like a twist, but it's a little bit different. It's like a whole 360. Feathery is something that's like soft, feels like a feather, right? So in Brown Girl Dreaming, Woodson uses these sensory words to create imagery or vivid word pictures. Imagery helps readers understand ideas in a deeper way than plain explanations might allow. For example, the words twist and twirl help the reader understand Woodson's difficulty with reading the words twist or the words twirl across the page. How does the concept vocabulary sharpen the reader's understanding of Woodson's feelings? And what other words in the selection are examples of sensory language? Okay, so I think in the example above, for example, the words twist and twirl across the page, if you're imagining the words moving on the page, you can understand that it's very confusing and difficult for her, right, to read. Other words in the selection, examples of sensory language. Let's go up to the selection. I'm sure there's a ton of examples. Okay. Slip and slide through grass, so you can feel like the feeling of slipping and sliding, right? Nothing to do but watch the gray sidewalk grow darker. Watch the drops slide down the glass pane. So this is all visual imagery, right? You can see all of this. Watch people below me move fast, heads bent. So with this description, you can see what's happening, right? She didn't write nothing to do but watch the gray sky, the rain, the people, right? She gave more information. The gray sidewalk grow darker. You can imagine like the grayness moving in. Watch the drops slide down the glass pane. So you can imagine like the window with the drops like sliding down it, right? Watch people below me move fast, heads bent. So you can imagine that they're down at the street below and their heads are bent down, right, in the rain. I imagine there's a ton of examples. So just in the first stanza of Brooklyn Rain, in this first section, you can get some good visual imagery. So I'm sure there are others. If you would like to point out more, you may. What else have we got? Okay, so we've got this practice section. So you're going to do this practice section. It says, the concept vocabulary words appear in Brown Girl Dreaming. So find each vocabulary word in the text. Write down the sentence in which it appears. Then rewrite each sentence without using any sensory language. Make sure the sentence has the same basic meaning. For example, when I read, the words twist and twirl across the page might become, when I read, I have trouble following the words. Right? They have the same meaning, but check out how different that feels when you read those two, right? So how did your changes affect the meaning of the sentences? Did removing the sensory language improve your understanding of the concept vocabulary? If so, how? So for the other concept vocabulary words, you will do this. Okay? If you have any trouble with this, let me know. And then for the word study, we have onomatopoeia. Yes, that's onomatopoeia. That's pronounced pia. The concept vocabulary words I cannot read today: squish, Humming and shushes are examples of onomatopoeia, or words that imitate the sounds they mean. Animal sounds such as woof, moo, and meow are other examples of onomatopoeia. Use each onomatopoeic concept vocabulary word in a sentence of your own. So you make your own sentence using these. Jot down other examples of onomatopoeia that you have come across in your own experience or in the selection. If you cannot think of any, I will let you think of a few, like, looking online at lists of onomatopoeia, choose a few that you like. And I would say at least 3. At least put 3 down here. Okay. So make sure you understand that onomatopoeia are sound words, okay? And make sure you understand the concept vocabulary words and their meaning, how we use them in a sentence, okay? Because this section, the vocabulary and the word study, are on your Friday quiz. So if you have any questions about the meaning, ask me, okay? This is what your Friday quiz is over. Okay. So now we're looking at the convention section, and this we have to understand for the homework that's due Monday night. Usually homeworks are due Sunday night, but because of Labor Day weekend, we have a 3-day weekend, so this homework will be due Monday night, okay? So our conventions this time, we're looking at common, proper, and possessive nouns, okay? A noun names a person, place, thing, or an idea. Here are several types of nouns. A common noun names any one class of people, places, things, or ideas. Common nouns are not capitalized. So if I say, the dog barked at me, the dog is just a dog. It doesn't have a name, it's not a breed of dog, it's not special, it's just a dog. So that's a common noun, okay? A proper noun names a specific person, place, thing, or idea. Proper nouns are capitalized. However, a poet may sometimes choose not to capitalize a proper noun for effect or for style. For example, Jacqueline Woodson doesn't capitalize Brooklyn, even though it is the name of a specific place. Now, there are well-studied scholars of English who could probably argue day in and day out why she chose not to capitalize Brooklyn, looking at evidence in the poem, but we're not here to do that. Just know that she made a choice to do that. Maybe it has to do with her feelings about Brooklyn compared to the countryside, would be my guess. So for example, the dog barked at me. If we change the dog to the border collie barked at me, that's a specific breed of dog, and breed names for dogs are capitalized. Or Charlie barked at me. Maybe Charlie is the name of a specific dog. All right? So that's a proper noun, and it would be capitalized. Next, we have possessive noun. So a possessive noun shows ownership. Possessive nouns function as adjectives by modifying a noun or pronoun in a sentence. Most singular possessive nouns end in an apostrophe and the letter S, like this. An example is sisters. Most plural possessive nouns end in the letter S and an apostrophe. An example is sisters with the apostrophe at the end. Okay. The chart shows examples of common, proper, and possessive nouns from the excerpt. Okay. So our common nouns, and my uncle likes the stories I'm making up. So uncle, common noun. Stories, common noun. Proper nouns. Robert showing us the steps he learned at the Far Rockaway parties. Okay, so we've got Robert, and we've got the name of a specific party, Far Rockaway. Possessive noun. Stories in my head, take me back there, set me down in Daddy's garden. This is Daddy's garden. It shows ownership, right? So that's a possessive noun. Because he owns the garden. He is a noun, but he also shows ownership here. So for the read it, we have in each sentence, mark proper nouns that should be capitalized, add an apostrophe to possessive nouns where needed. Okay? Hope's home in South Carolina is very different from Erica's home in New York. Jacqueline's plans for the weekend include hiking in Smith Park and calling her grandmother in Arizona. Uncle Robert's silly songs and dance lessons make us smile and laugh. Okay, so these three. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for capitalization, apostrophes, things like this. Okay. Number 2, it says reread Brooklyn Rain. Then mark at least one common noun, one proper noun, and one possessive noun in the poem. So you're going to look for at least one of each type and mark it. You can mark common noun as CN, proper noun as PN, and possessive noun, I would do SN because there's so many S's in possessive, and we've got a P here and a P here. Okay? Okay, so then for write it says write a paragraph about the similarities and the differences between Woodson and her sister Odella. You don't have to do a whole paragraph, but try to find at least 2 proper nouns and 1 possessive noun, label all common nouns. So I would say you don't have to write a whole paragraph, but maybe write a couple sentences about, like, maybe a sentence what's similar and a sentence what's different, and try to include proper nouns and a possessive. Okay? Make sure you understand this because this is for the homework. So if you do not, please ask me in class. Okay? So again, homework will be on this theme. There is a handout in Google Classroom. And our quiz Friday will be on concept vocab and word study. Okay? So go ahead and give these sections a try. So you do the practice here, you'll do the notebook here, you'll do the read it here, and the write it here. Okay? You can put these all on one sheet in Google Drive if you want. You can do it directly in your book. Just make sure that you either, if you do it on Google Drive, use the turn in button. If you do it on paper, make sure I see it when it's done, like in the book. All right? I want to make sure that I mark that you did your work today. All right, and for writing class, we will continue working on our draft. No, we did writing class already. We only have 1 class today. Oh my goodness. We only have 1 class today. All right, let's make sure you guys know this stuff then for your quiz and your homework.